evening. Hello, future Boilermakers. Congratulations for being admitted into Purdue University for a major here in the Purdue Polytechnic. My name is Toni Mungia, Director of Recruitment and Diversity in the Polytechnic. Our broadcast tonight will focus on the more personal aspects of life as a student at Purdue. If you have questions about the academic aspects of studying here, for example, can I double major in two specific fields? Or what will the plan of study be like in my major? Or how can I change my major? Those topics are typically covered in our other broadcasts, both this year and last year. And you can watch them on videos by going to polytechnic.purdue.edu/live. Tonight, we will discuss why our students decided to pick Purdue, what classes are like compared to high school, living on campus, student organizations, and more. Plus, the current students who are here tonight will share their advice for success as college students. I will ask our students to introduce themselves in a minute. You are welcome to ask questions tonight by posting in the chat. Log in with your Google account to submit questions. Current students, Andrew Camlett and Malavika Reddy, as well our technical directors with John O'Malley. They will answer as many questions as they can in the chat room, and they will share your questions with me to answer on air. Okay, so you are welcome to ask questions tonight by posting in the chat. So you can also send us an email and we will respond to your questions later on. You can send them to techpurdue at, let me say that again, techrecruit@purdue.edu. So let's get started by meeting the students who are here with me tonight. I will ask each of you to introduce yourselves, tell us your major, where you are from, and how long you have been at Purdue. And we'll start with Ishani, okay?
Hi everyone, I'm Ishani. I'm majoring in UX design with a minor in psychology and a certificate in data applications. I'm currently a sophomore at Purdue and I'm from Mumbai, India.
Okay, Suzy, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Suzy. I am currently a senior at Purdue studying human resource development with a minor in human resource management, and I am from Carmel, Indiana.
Thank you. Ashley, how about you?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Gold. I'm currently a freshman at Purdue University, majoring in aeronautical engineering technology, and I'm from the Bay Area, California.
Thank you. Briana.
Hi, I'm Briana Hansen, and I'm majoring in computer and information technology. I'm from Fishers, Indiana, and I've been here at Purdue since July of 2024, since I was in the early start program.
Thank you. Good evening to you, Preston. You're next.
Hey everyone, my name is Preston Bush. I'm a cybersecurity major minoring in Spanish. I'm a sophomore and I'm from Fishers, Indiana.
Andriana, it's your turn.
Hello everyone, I'm Andriana Onohan. I am in mechanical engineering technology and I'm a freshman. And I am from Cherville, Indiana.
Thank you. And last but not least, it's your turn, Fermin.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Fermin Soriano. I'm sophomore in mechanical engineering technology, and I am originally from East Chicago, Indiana.
Thank you. So Ishani, let's start with you. How did you find out that Purdue offered your major, and why did Purdue become your first choice?
So originally I was actually going to apply for industrial design, and Purdue does have an industrial design major. It's in the College of Liberal Arts. But while I was searching for it, what caught my eye was the UX design degree, just because I had never seen this as a major at any other school. And it was also a Bachelor of Science, which was really different to the BFA that the industrial design program is. And as I looked more into it, I found that it was very technologically focused, very modern, and very up-to-date curriculum. Along with that, it was a pretty small cohort, so I really felt like it it would be easier for me to kind of adjust to the college environment when I'm not meeting so many new people all at the same time. And amongst all of the colleges that I applied to, Purdue was definitely the best value college. It was up there in terms of reputation and educational quality, and it was still one of the cheaper schools. And as an international student, that was a pretty big factor for me that despite everything that it's offering, it's still so affordable for me to come here.
Wonderful. Thank you. How about you, Suzy? Why did you choose Purdue?
Yeah, so I chose Purdue because it was very interesting to me to see human resource be in the Polytech department of a college. And so I took a look at the plan of study and I realized that there is a lot of leadership incorporated into our studies and a lot of technologies. And I thought it was very interesting and very intriguing to have technology be part of our major. And in looking at our plan of study, I did realize that we had to learn how to code our studio, which I thought was different from other school, and that set Purdue apart from other colleges. And so in a society where technology is more prominent and there's increase of usage of AI and technology at that, Purdue is likely the best school for me and what I want to do. And so that's just why I wanted to go into Purdue, and especially why HR at Purdue was the best for me.
Wonderful. Thank you. Ashley, how about you? Why did you choose Purdue and your major?
Okay, so as a California student, schools in the Midwest or on the East Coast were not really on my radar since they're pretty far from where I live. And when my dad's boss heard about my major, aeronautical engineering technology, she told him to tell me to apply to Purdue. And I wasn't really sure at first because I didn't know anything about the school at all. But luckily, there was an info session that was like 30 minutes from my house. So my dad and I went there and I learned a lot about Purdue, but I still wasn't so sure since I applied to 25 schools. Um, by the time I'd heard back from every college, I was deciding between 14 schools, and my top three were Purdue, Santa Clara University, and RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I think that's the full name for it. And when I visited Santa Clara, I loved the campus. It was beautiful, but it just didn't really feel like home. And it was also 13 minutes from my home. And while I love my parents, I didn't really want to be that close to them. Love you guys. When I visited RPI in New York, I also really liked their campus and I liked their vibe. They had really good academics, but I still didn't feel at home. And then finally, Purdue was one of the last schools that I visited. I came during the eclipse. And right when I got on campus, I immediately felt welcomed. Every student and every faculty member was super kind to me. I really experienced that Midwestern kindness. And when I visited the airport, I just fell in love because no other school that I had visited or applied to had an airport like the one at Purdue. So I was immediately interested in all of the like resources that the airport had and all of the labs that they had that a lot of other schools didn't have. So I get to have a lot of real world experience working with actual aircraft. So I think that that's really special, and that's why I chose Purdue.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ashley. Briana, why did Purdue become your number one choice?
So Purdue was my number one choice because it's close to home. So that made transitioning to college a lot smoother for me. And additionally, Purdue is one of the top STEM schools in the US, and it has a really high reputation for their computer and information technology program or major, which really interested me. And then also, they provided financial support, which made it easier for me and a better option. And then lastly, they provided a lot of options to explore your interests and grow career-wise. So there's really like a plethora of opportunities. You're never going to be bored here at Purdue. There's always something that you can grow from. So that is why Purdue became my number one choice.
Wonderful. Thank you. Preston, why did you choose Purdue?
I chose Purdue for many reasons. First is that it's very close to home for me, and I like hanging out with my family. They're the closest thing to me, so home was definitely a spot that I kept in mind. And additionally, for my major in cybersecurity, it's regarded as one of the best majors in the United States. So that was pretty much a no-brainer whenever I saw that I was accepted into it. Additionally, Purdue offers a lot of resources to every student. It is a very fun spot to be to learn. But additionally, you can meet so many new people. There's over 1,000 clubs on campus. So even if you are far away from home or you still don't feel like you have lots of inclusion, there are tons of people on this campus. There's a tons of ways to get involved. And so you will always feel like you are included in your coursework and in your extra hobbies that, people don't know about you just by your major. So that's why Purdue is number one for me.
Thank you. Andriana, how did Purdue become your number one?
Well, Purdue has always been at the top of my radar when I was looking for colleges, and it really solidified that decision for me when I came and visited Purdue. Honestly, I just absolutely love the campus. I love the environment here. It was so welcoming. And additionally, the Polytech is what really drew me into Purdue, just to its unique learning style, as Polytech is a lot more hands-on, and I wanted to go into mechanical engineering. And I really like the aspect of doing things more hands-on and applying what I knew to get a better understanding and learning, because that's the best way I learn. So overall, with the welcoming campus and the Polytech, that's why it became my number one.
Wonderful. Thank you. Fermin, what about you?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of things in my life kind of point me towards Purdue. Being in East Chicago, I wasn't that far from Purdue, about an hour and a half drive. So definitely almost in the backyard of my house. But since high school, I was involved in Purdue's programs, from summer courses to trio to even spending a week at Purdue and kind of living actually in a dorm as a high schooler, getting that college experience before I even really get there. And teachers along the way also told me, oh, I went to Purdue, I studied engineering, I did this. So it's definitely a great inspiration hearing them, how it is that they did and how it is that they see me doing, being a well student in their eyes. And overall, just it was a great option for me to pursue. Being a frozen tuition school is definitely a big bang for your buck type of deal. And just everybody who I ever heard talk about Purdue always had something good to say. I never heard anything negative said about Purdue, so it's definitely nice to hear so much and great things said about Purdue.
Wonderful. Thank you. So let's change our topic a little bit. Let's compare what it's like to study in college as compared to studying in high school. How are college classes different from classes in high school? During your first or second year at Purdue, what did you find challenging and how did you make the adjustment? Briana, let's start with you.
I would say the biggest difference is that in college, professors really expect you to take full responsibility for your learning. Like in high school, the teachers might remind you if there's an assignment coming up or if there's extra credit opportunities. But in college, it's really up to you to take initiative. If you want the grade, you have to work for it and go to office hours. And professors are always more than willing to help, and they're there for you on your academic journey. So really, it's just that you have to take the initiative and use the resources that Purdue has plenty of. And also the material is it's more it's harder and it moves faster. So you have to really take the time to like time block your schedule and like find the time to study, which can be really hard when you have these like really like deep and harder courses, and you have to balance that. So but Purdue has a lot of opportunities through the Academic Success Center. You can find accountability groups. But yeah, so I would say, like, for me, adjusting, my biggest challenge was managing my time. But again, Purdue provides resources like to find ways to schedule your time and work with other students on improving. And for me, I like to use Google Calendar because it can notify you. But yeah, you really just have to find that balance and make sure to take initiative and work with your professors.
Wonderful. Thank you. Ashley, now that you're a second semester at Purdue, are your classes and projects even more different?
Okay, yes, definitely way more different than they were in high school. I did not have labs that were separate from my classes, of course, and I'm going to be completely honest here. I did not study as much in high school as I do now because high school kind of felt like such a breeze that I didn't really feel the need to study for more than 3 hours a day. But here at Purdue, I have to manage myself and my time so much more now because my parents aren't here to help me anymore as much. And I was so used to my high school schedule, which was just school, lacrosse, homework, dinner, sleep, repeat. And then I had my weekends. But now my classes are very spread out throughout the day. So I have to manage my time a lot better and my studying a lot better. I now do homework for like 5+ hours on most days. And when I have to study for tests or midterms like that, I study for 7+ hours a day, depending on the test, like the type of test. And grades matter a lot more here, especially for my major, where a 93 and above is an A and below a 78 is a fail for my major specifically. I know some other majors are on that grading scale, but there's different grading scales for everyone. And I also found it really hard to manage making friends, adjusting to college, and adjusting to a whole new state in my first semester. But when I got my time management under control and I got used to my classes, I feel like my life is so much less hectic now in my second semester here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Preston, since you've been a Purdue student for a bit longer, do you have any different insights? Do college classes need even more preparation as you progress towards senior year?
Yeah, so high school, as we all said, is very different from college. My biggest change from high school to college was absolutely time management. In high school as well, because class sizes are smaller, there's about 30 students in one class. It's very easy to develop a close relationship with your teacher. So if you need any help or you need additional time, that's a very easy process to handle. Versus in college, when your first class, you step in there and you have like 300 other students in there. It's kind of hard to stick out as an individual and get that one-on-one time that you really need, if that is an opportunity that you would like to take with your professors. As far as adjusting for college classes in senior year and in high school, I'd say that if you have college courses that you could take at your high school that will prepare you for college, it really puts you in the mindset of you need to have time management. You need to figure out what was going to work well for you in order for you to balance social time, class time, and relationships. That way you're able to have a smooth transition into college. But additionally, like if you're in this meeting, you know how important academic success is. And carrying that on through Purdue is definitely something that we all like to carry with pride around us. Um, as far as I'm progressing towards senior year, classes do change a lot. Material becomes a little bit more specific in your major, but it's nothing that you aren't prepared for because as you are continually like increasing your education here at Purdue, it's not something that's going to surprise you. You do everything all at once, and you get more comfortable with it as you move on. So it's not really nothing to be afraid of. Just make sure that you're on top of everything you need, and don't be afraid to ask for help either.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, we have a question from the audience. Manisha Valika asks, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, please apologize. How quickly do general education courses or classes fill up? And is it recommended to enroll early? Is her question. Does anyone want to take that one? Any of the upper class, maybe Suzy or Fermin?
I can take it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So for general courses, it really depends on the course that you are looking at. However, the best advice I would say is to talk to your academic advisor, since they have an idea of and they plan out your course of studies and what classes you should take. So I think, again, it really depends on the courses. Some fill up very fast, some doesn't fill up all the time. So yeah, talk to your advisor and see if there's any courses that you should get out of the way or if there's anything they recommend.
Okay, wonderful. Fermin, you have your hand
Yeah,
up.
personally, I want. Oh, yeah. Personally, I want to say I never really had problems with getting a class that I needed. If you were to make your appointment with your academic advisor on time, you're basically guaranteed to get the course you need. Needing Calc 1, English courses, science courses, whatever it is. I always got them, never an issue. And definitely something that shouldn't be a worry when enrolling. I think just enrolling for them on a regular time, just not being too late to it, is definitely, an okay option for you to do.
Okay, Thank you. Just out of curiosity, can someone share their experiences with scheduling classes, like for the next semester, or how you deal with, when classes may be full? How does that, how do you register for the next, let's say the next semester for classes? Okay, I see Preston's hand up. Go for it.
Yeah, so I had my academic advising appointment today, so I feel like this would be perfect to answer.
Okay.
So whenever you go through that process, you do get an email beforehand saying what time will fit best for your schedule, and there's a ton of options. So even if it's like you have a first offering for, let's say I had mine today on the 22nd, but there is an offering for like March 22nd, the time that you decide to take that appointment is not going to affect the availability of the schedule. Additionally, included in an email that you'll get from your advisor will have all the classes that are available to you or that you should take, and also a recommendation for that. And you can also, there's flexibility as well. So let's say that you have a class that you could take in your first semester of your freshman year, but you want to take it the second semester because there's something that's more appealing to you and you want to take more gen ed classes. You can absolutely do that. As long as you're in line to make sure you graduate on time, your academic advisors will really provide you with a lot of flexibility and a lot of other options you can take, as long as you are in track to graduate within 4 years, as that is your plan. Every single course also has a plan of study that you can follow. So if you're really unsure about the classes that will fit or credit hours that you can do, My Purdue has, when you're a student, you can go to My Purdue and it will show you lots of variables of what classes you can fill in, what the prerequisites are. So all the answers that you really need can be found there or with your academic advisor, and they're always available to help you out.
Okay, thank you. Did someone else have their hand up? Was it Ashley, or did he answer what you were going to say?
He answered what I was going to say. I just want to mention the plan of study, which has been super
okay.
helpful for me, by the way.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Another question from the audience. Kristen C says, are most classes freshman year large, like hundreds of users? When do the ratios get smaller? Ishani, you want to take that one, or?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
in general, most of your general education classes will definitely be big, especially if you're doing any sort of math course or any core class that everybody in the university is required to do, not just for your major, like a science core class. Those are going to be fairly big, but as soon as you start petering out of those and into your major specific classes, your classroom sizes are going to get smaller. For me, this happened in my second semester due to the way my course works, but mostly this will end up happening in your sophomore year, where you will definitely have a lot more smaller classes than larger ones. Your first semester, you'll probably be taking a lot of core classes and less major specific ones. So I would definitely expect very large classrooms and more lecture type classes rather than studios or labs. Yeah.
Anyone else want to tackle that one? Has anyone had a small class freshman year? Okay, go ahead. Andriana?
Yeah, that was something I was going to add on. So for my first semester, I did have I had a couple general classes, obviously, and a lot of them were big. Like my math course was a large classroom, but more classes like my composition class, or Com 114, was very small. I had probably about 25 people in there. So and that setting, sometimes those settings are nice because it's a nice transition. It almost feels like high school again. So it's kind of nice because it's college material, obviously, but you still have a difference between, a smaller group setting, whereas some classes is a larger group setting. So you kind of get best of both worlds in that sense.
Someone asked, like, in general, how big are general ed courses? I think at Purdue, our largest is what, 400 students? Isn't a class of 50 can hold, but that is our largest? Can anyone verify how large our general ed classes can be? Go ahead, Preston.
Yeah, so Gen Ed's like, I don't exactly know the exact number for 1950, but I do know that it is past about 300 chairs in total. And as you're in those classes, like the overwhelming size can be, you know, intimidating. But most of the time, teachers have a really easy way of communicating between everyone. But sometimes you can have gen eds that, like someone said, Com 114. That class can be as small as like 20 people, or like an econ class that's like a niche version of it can also have anywhere up to like 100 people as well. But you'll be in a bigger room. Most of the time, people will end up sitting in the back and not in the front. You only really sit in the front in that class if you really want to get to know the professor. But other than that, the classes can be really big, but it's really nothing too scary. You get used to it as you walk into larger rooms because they're not the size of your high school classes. So you'll figure it out eventually.
Okay. Ashley?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I was also really nervous about larger classrooms when I was committing to colleges. That was one of my big questions because in my high school, we didn't really have more than 30 students in each class. But I found out that there are a lot of TAs that have a lot of knowledge as well, and they're willing to help you if you have a question during the lecture that the professor can't answer, or just in general, the TAs are very helpful, I've found to be. So don't worry too much about the big lectures. They're definitely scary at first, but you have a ton of resources, and the professors all have office hours, including some of the TAs. So you're definitely going to find the help you need.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question. Most students live in Purdue residence halls during their first year, and some stay there all 4 years. What has it been like having a roommate and meeting people you live near you? Preston, can you answer that?
I can absolutely do that. So I am a sophomore. I lived in McCutcheon Hall my first year, and now I'm in Cary Quad. This is in my second year, and my third year I'll live in Hilltop. So I plan on being in the dorms all 4 years, and I plan on doing that, one, because I like being on campus, and two, I find it really easy to have spots to eat. And I don't know about you guys, but I do like to eat food. That is one of my highlights of the day.
I was going to
Um,
ask you, how is the food?
yeah. Oh, okay. So people say that there are some dining courts that are better than most, and they all have their own specialties. Personally, I live right next to Ford, and I love their brick oven pizza. It is incredible. Their salad bar is also amazing. Wiley has some great pizza. Windsor also has a ton of like different options. They have a halal grill. They also have an awesome salad bar. Windsor also has panini presses, so if you want to like make a really easy like grilled cheese sandwich, super easy. Earhart has an Asian buffet, and Hillenbrand has Hilly brunch, and that's awesome because on Sundays, like from 11 to 4, you can get amazing brunch foods, and sometimes they have fettuccine alfredo, which is incredible. Everyone should try that out once you get here, or if you decide. But I like it, and if you also don't want to eat at the dining courts, there are tons of other options you can eat at. When you have dining dollars, you can go to spots like Chick-fil-A. That's my favorite spot to go to. At the gym, there's a spot called Freshens where they have salad. And there's even other spots that are closer to other dining courts, like next to Cary, there's a spot called Cary Night Spot, and they have amazing milkshakes. And I love milkshakes with grilled cheese. That's like an awesome college combo. You don't get more college than that. Um, but I like living on the dorms for all of those reasons because no matter if I'm at the lab late at night and I need to get something to eat, dining courts close at 9. Cary is like, or Noy, where I do cybersecurity at, it's like a 10-minute walk, maybe 15-minute walk from going slow from the dining court. So I'm really in a good spot to always make sure that I have food. And if I need food late, I can go to the night spot. And as you're there, as you're eating at these dining courts, most of the time people go to the closest one. So you end up meeting people who live in your own, like maybe even on your own floor that you didn't even know. And there's a ton of spots to eat in the dining court as well. You won't feel like I don't have anywhere to sit because there's a ton of availability. Some dining courts even have a second floor. Ford, for example, has overflow. So it's always a great spot to meet people on your floor. There's always floor events. Your RAs will coordinate ways for people to meet one another so it's not awkward. And most of the times you meet people in the elevator or in the lobby. That's where I've met a lot of my friends on the floor because you always go up to different spots together. So you're always around one another. You'll make a lot of friends. Dining court, not dining court, even maybe even walking on the way there when you're at the crosswalks. You find friends in strange spots here on college, but that's just how it goes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Preston. Ashley, what's it like living in Meredith South Residence Hall? You're in a quad, right?
Yes, I am in a quad. I love my 3 roommates and I love Meredith South. I think that I got really lucky with Meredith South because it's one of the newer dorms, so we have really great facilities and we have a really great room that's really big. I'm sitting in it right now, but I blurred the background because some of my roommates are in here. So, our quad is also really big, so it fits all of us very comfortably in here. And whenever people walk into my room for the first time, they always mention how big our room is, which I like to brag a little bit about that because I think it's pretty nice. When I was trying to find my roommates, I was trying to find some people through like Instagram and Snapchat, but it was kind of hard to really meet people on social media, so I ended up just going random. And I got really lucky because my random roommates are great. We're actually living together next semester as well, so we're going to be living off campus in a little apartment, so I'm really excited for that. And I have a few friends who were not so lucky with their random roommates, like in Meredith South that I know, but they always get their issues resolved. The RAs are really great about that, and I've never really heard of too many bad things happening between roommates because everyone's just here for school and just here to have a good time. So I've never had any huge problems or anything like that. But yeah, I love Meredith South.
Wonderful. Thank you. Would anyone else like to talk about their experience with either residence halls or living off campus, roommates, or how you made your living space your home at Purdue? Just raise your hand and I can call on you. Ishani.
Yeah, so about living in residence halls, particularly the ones which have more freshmen, are always really lively and they're always very welcoming. They always have like floor events going on. I'm a sophomore now, but last year I lived in Wiley Residence Hall and it's one of the ones without any sort of AC. So you would always see the common areas packed and everyone's always there. And it was a bonding experience for all of us, especially in August and September. And in general it was really nice. It kind of felt like you have your own little community there. For making my dorm my home in a way, I love going to Vaughn's, which is a store off campus, but it's really close and they have a lot of posters and it's nice to hang it up and sort of express yourself. This wall doesn't have anything, but it is there on the other side of the room. And it's really nice, especially if you have a random roommate. It's a good bonding experience, which is what I did with mine. And it was kind of fun to decorate our room together, even though we didn't really know each other that well at the time.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I have a question from the audience. Suresh Ramato wants to know, do we have options to switch the dorm room or the residence halls after we sign? Does anybody know the answer to that? Ashley.
Yes, so I haven't personally switched, but I do have 2 friends. One of them switched from living in one part of another dorm to another part because she had some trouble with her roommates. And then my other friend from Meredith South ended up switching from her room into that other friend's room. So now they're living together and she just moved in like a week ago. So it's definitely possible as long as you have like a good reason to do it and as long as they have space to move people around. But yeah, it's definitely possible.
Okay. Any other comments on residence halls? I think someone said they had honors experience or anything like that. Okay, we'll continue then, move on. Fermin, you joined a learning community, right? Can you tell us about that experience and how did it benefit your transition to Purdue?
Yeah, of course. So before I was actually in the Polytechnic Institute, I was part of the first year engineering program. And for the first year engineering program, there are a couple of learning communities offered to students within that. The one I was involved in was called EPICS, which stands for Engineering Projects and Community Services. To give you a little bit of background about what EPICS is, it's basically a multidisciplinary teams to design, build, and implement engineering solutions and real-world community needs. It's a great way to connect with people in the area and kind of get to know some problems they may be having or issues, and be able to help them. It's definitely something that's very hands-on and gives you practical problems to deal with. And I've seen teams developing things from assistive technology for people with disabilities sustainable solutions, like alternative methods of growing, watering plants. It's definitely something that's great. And, along with it, you also get credit. So with EPIC specifically, I know you received a 1 credit course where you did go to and go work with your team and kind of develop your own project. But then you also took another separate course where you learned programming with Python and MATLAB, and it's definitely helpful hand in hand to help each other to kind of develop each other's skills.
And this is
Overall,
through your
great
learning community?
experience.
This was through your
Yes,
learning
yeah,
community? Okay.
yeah. It's all through Epics.
Okay.
Um, and then with that, you get experience in project management, teamwork, and technical skills. One last thing that I do want to mention about learning communities is that you typically get placed within a specific dorm. So with Epics, I got placed in the Shreve building, and it was definitely great to kind of meet people within my team, within the same community, and kind of bond with them. Have a more personal experience with them. I know different learning communities have different buildings, and it does change from time to time. So, if you're interested in kind of working in a team and kind of choosing more specifically what dorm you might be wanting, learning communities is definitely great for that.
Great. Thank you. Actually, you're in a learning community right now, aren't you? And how has that been for you?
Yes, I'm part of Women in Technology, and I've absolutely been loving it. Women in Technology really helped me in my first semester, and they're still helping me now, but they really helped me adjust to campus life because I was put into a group of other freshmen who are also girls, and especially in the field technology where it is male dominated, I will say that, but there are a lot of girls here, and I really enjoyed meeting them, and Women in Tech made it a lot easier to meet them. And they threw like bonding events, and they still do. So Toni will come to my dorm sometimes, and she'll have events down on the first floor, and they're always super fun, and I love going to them when I can. So I also Women in Tech helped me live in Meredith South, which was one of the perks as well of Women in Tech. But yeah, I also really enjoyed, they have a class that's associated with Women in Tech. I can't remember what's it called. It's Tech 100, right?
It's Tech 101, Women in Technology Exploring the
Right.
Possibilities. Yes.
Yes, Tech 101. Yeah, so that one, if you're in Women in Technology Learning Community, you take that class, but you also don't have to be in the learning community to take that class. And you also don't have to be in the learning community to participate with the learning community. So I just really love how open we are to new people coming in and how many friends that I've made because of this. So yeah, I think that it's definitely been a great experience.
Thank you. Ishani, how has your experience in a learning community been?
So I'm part of the data mine, and there's 2 cohorts. One is the general cohort, which they'll just really ease you into learning data science through R and Python, and it's a 1 credit course. So it's really nice to just dip your toes. And I'm also part of the corporate partners cohort. So what they do is you get put into a group with people from of all ages and of all majors. So there'll even be grad students, some master students, some juniors, freshmen, everything, and you get to work with a real life company on a data science project, so you're learning and you're applying those skills at the same time, which I thought was really cool. And the best part about the data mine is it's one of the few learning communities which you don't have to be a freshman to join. So I was a sophomore when I joined it last semester, and I'm still continuing this semester. And it's really nice to get some experience in a field that's actually completely different to mine, and they're very helpful about it. They expect people to join without any background knowledge in the subject. So it really eases you into it. And if obviously, if you're not a fan of it, you can drop at any time. But if you are, once you're in the learning community, you can stay for however long you want until you graduate as well. So I really enjoyed that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Fermin, do you have a comment?
Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot. With ethics, I didn't explain my team at all. So to kind of explain and build off my response from earlier, my team was Speedway. I worked with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum to develop interactive museum exhibits for students to kind of see. The purpose of it was for the museum to kind of take it around schools and kind of make it a portable learning experience for students to learn and interact with indie exhibits. And so my team was comprised of 3 sub teams. a wind tunnel team that developed a small wind tunnel to demonstrate students the aerodynamics of cars. An indie pit stop, which was an interactive kind of little pit stop where you mimicked doing a pit stop and kind of just took off the tires, filled the gas, and kind of compare your times to other times. And Toolbox, which was my team, which developed a small kind of little interactive table where students kind of pick up the metals and materials used for Indy cars and give them a little bit of history and background about Indy cars and their involvement in racing engineering.
Sounds cool. Thank you. Yes, sounds very cool. Let's switch topics here a little bit. Andriana, have you ever struggled in a class? And if you have, how did you overcome the challenges that maybe you were facing?
Yeah, so for me, especially one of the main things I was nervous about was college courses coming here. And to let everyone know, they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. Because I was a little afraid that there was just going to be all these things that I didn't know. But that wasn't the case. They teach you all those things. You're not going in with a blind eye. But specifically for me, last semester it was Calc 1. The highest math I had taken in high school was pre-trig and calc. So with that, I was struggling a little bit in the course, just as far as learning the material. But the one thing that's amazing about Purdue and their courses is that they have so many resources that you can go to. All the professors, all your teachers that you have, all have office hours so that you can go to those and get more of a one-on-one experience with them and make a connection with them. Along with that, I know that the math courses and a lot of different courses have SI sessions, which are student-led. So they have people teaching courses. Now, this is not the same thing as tutoring. They more have like activities and examples where you will demonstrate those with other people who go to the SI session. So it's a more applicational learning than it is someone sitting down with you and teaching it to you. And then there's also things like the math resource room, which is what I went to along with the SI sessions. And the math resource room is just a room where you can go and you can get help from people who work there who specialize in that, class. And that's where I went and got help. And it was amazing. And, I went and I was only there for maybe an hour. I was able to understand everything that I needed to know. I went to the SI sessions. I got a little more practice before exams and stuff. And I ended up passing with a really good grade in the class. I got an A. And yeah, so.
Wonderful. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. And it was a class that you were struggling in.
Yes, it was a class I was struggling in just because I wasn't understanding some of the things, the content can be a little difficult, but I was able to get back on the train and keep going.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Has anyone else faced any, maybe difficulty in a class than what you expected and kind of overcome it, or gotten, support from the BEST, Building Excellence for Students in Technology, or any of the other programs available here at Purdue? Yes, Preston.
Yeah, so I have had my fair share of struggles here at college. Additionally, in high school, the highest math I had taken was college algebra, which is essentially Algebra 2, but Part 2, but it's not called pre-calc. And so whenever I got to Calc 1, I was really nervous and scared. And the first exam was very intimidating, but I actually did better than I thought I did. I went to the office hours of a professor. I don't know if she still teaches it anymore, but Professor Delgado was her name. And I needed a lot more help than just the hour in office hours. And she suggested that I should use the tutoring list that she had made from handpicked students that she knew were very proficient in Calc 1 and Calc 2. So I had a tutor, and we met Tuesday and Thursday for about an hour every week until I got done with it. And I also finished the class with an A, so that was great. Thank you, Dan. That was incredible. I would not have been in that situation without the guidance of Professor Delgado and my tutor, Dan. But aside from the Purdue math courses, there is a class here, at least for cybersecurity, called CNIT 155, which is Python. I learned Python in high school, but there's a little bit more extensions on the nerd side of this. There's a little more extensions with file operations that I was not quite comfortable with. And when you're a Polytech student, there is an opportunity for you to book with something with BEST. You can pick a tutor who is available to teach the course, and you can manage a time to meet with them. You can do virtual or in person. And so I met with a student, and he had taken the course before. He explained everything that I needed to learn in like 15 minutes. And I felt really silly afterwards, but he said that he had had multiple people come in that week to ask him about it. We kept in touch until I got done with the class. I also finished that class with an A. And believe it or not, that thing that I went to go ask for help with was on the final. And if I had not gone there, that class would have resulted very differently because college moves very quick. But I'm very glad that I had the opportunity to get the help from professors, TAs, and other good students here.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, we're going to change subjects again. What are some student organizations with which you have been involved? Maybe tell us why you are involved. Tell us a little bit about some of the group activities, leadership roles that you have. We haven't heard from you in a little while. Suzy, why don't you answer this question?
Yeah, so I've been here for 3 years, and there's just a lot of organizations and clubs that I've been involved with. During my first, I believe, couple year at Purdue, I was heavily involved with Women in Technology. Through that club, I was able to bond with other members who were also in Polytech and get to know what they're studying and meet other HR professionals and just be able to make friends and connect with companies that the club would sometimes bring in to talk with. And some other clubs that I was involved with more for fun was Muay Thai. I did a little bit of boxing. So I just did a lot. And then for more academia stuff and leadership roles, I was involved with Purdue EDM Club. Through that club, I was the director of internal and external affairs. So I did a lot of work with connecting with other organizations and Purdue Pet a Puppy Club as well. So those were just some stuff that I was involved with.
Okay, wonderful. Andriana, do you want to handle that one as well?
Yeah, so same thing. During my first semester, I had also joined Women in Technology, which was really fun. It was fun to build a community with the women in my major, and in the Polytech, you got to do like fun events. And like one of the events, for example, was around Halloween time. We painted a pumpkin, and I just sat with a group of people and I talked to them and bonded. So that was really good. And then the other club that I'm in currently right now is Minority Technology Association, which is another community-based club, but it's also a networking club, which is nice. So they bring a lot of different companies in that you can talk to. Usually the companies will come and give a presentation, and then you're open to ask any questions to them. And a lot of times they have Purdue alumni. So it's a really good way to make your connections through the community and through industry. So that's really good.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think there are over 1,000 different student organizations here at Purdue. So lots and lots of opportunities to get involved, and you will find what you're any kind of club pretty much if you're looking for it. Preston, do you have your hand up? Oh, okay. I see your little hand. Okay, there we go.
Sorry, I didn't turn off, but yeah, there are lots of clubs.
Okay, wonderful. So I got a question from the audience about the weather. They want to know, how should students from warmer places be prepared for the winter weather? Who can answer that one? Ashley's raising her hand, and Ishani. So I'll let you two answer that one.
Okay, I can go first, I guess. So I'm from California, and I am not used to weather that is under like 40 degrees, maybe even 50 degrees. I thought 50 degrees was cold until I came here, but I came prepared because I don't like being cold. So I bought myself a nice little Columbia jacket and a North Face parka to get me through the winters. And I would definitely recommend having a balaclava so that you can cover your nose and your mouth, because it will get cold and your lips will get dry and crack and it will hurt. and definitely wear some gloves. Maybe even wear some sunglasses. I bought some pit vipers for the snow to not get in my eyes when I'm walking, and definitely have a beanie. Hand warmers, electric ones. I got some from Costco and I have some from Amazon. And definitely have some snow boots because it does get kind of slippery sometimes. And thermals, dress in layers, but honestly, it's really not that bad. I feel like I adjusted pretty fast, and today it was like 50 degrees and I was like, wow, I can wear a t-shirt. And I would have never said that if I hadn't come to the Midwest. I would have been wearing like a puffy jacket or something in this type of weather, but today was really nice. So, yeah.
Thank you. Ishani?
Yeah, same for me. So where I come from, it is just summer year round. There's no change. It's just sweltering heat. So I was pretty scared coming here for the first time. I would definitely stress on layering. Just make sure you're wearing multiple layers. Make sure one of them is a thermal. And I would also say be friends with locals or anybody who knows what the weather is like, because they're going to give you a lot more tips. They're going to tell you where you should get what you should wear, and what type of even boots you need for which weather. And it was really helpful. Especially my random roommate was from Indiana, so she had a lot of good tips for me when she saw me struggling even when it was just October. So it was really nice of her. And honestly, you will make it through. It's going to be, maybe the first month will be a little bit of a change, but soon you'll be walking around and you'll start to make fun of other people who won't be able to live in this weather.
Thank you. I'm Ashley and Ishani. How do you like the snow on campus, and maybe what's fun to do when it snows?
I can take
The
this one
sledding,
first.
oh, yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the same thing. I was gonna say you can go sledding on Slater Hill, and you'll see a lot of students doing it, so you definitely won't be the only one. And the snow really, it goes up and down a lot. Some days it'll snow a lot, some days it won't even snow at all. So you're not gonna be stuck in one sort of weather for like more than a week at most, because things are always changing here. So really keeps you on your toes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Um, so let's talk a little bit about life outside of class, since we just talked about the snow and going sledding. Because as all of you know, there's more to college than just classwork. Suzy, what do you like to do for fun when you're not studying?
Um, there's a lot of stuff to do at Purdue and around Purdue. Some of the stuff that I like to do is probably go to the gym. They have Alienware, which is like a gaming lounge that was newly built at CoRec. So it's a really cool site to always pass by. And they also have beach volleyball at Purdue. They also have indoor volleyball and just lots of sports that you could join or just play for fun with friends. And some other stuff is that I like to do is there are boba shops. I like to go there um, and just hang with friends. There's lots of restaurants to try something new. And if you are of age, you can go to bars too. They have a couple bars around campus.
Okay, thank you. Brianna, we haven't heard from you. What do you like to do for fun when you're not studying? And how do you find balance between studying and different activities at Purdue?
Yeah, kind of going off of what Suzy meant, free resources. Oh, I'm frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. Um, like I was mentioning, the CoRec has a lot of free opportunities for like classes such as yoga and Pilates that um, it's good to release stress. So, you can schedule online. It's super easy. And, if you can't make it all of a sudden, you can cancel and, no fee. But if you don't cancel in time, like you'll get like a $5 fee. But besides that, I also enjoy dancing, which I don't have much, like, I don't have any experience prior to coming here, but it's always something that I wanted to do. So I found a club on campus, Baile Folklorico Club, and it kind of helped me get closer to my culture and, just meet people who have the same interest as me. And last semester we had like a Day of the Dead event and we performed, and it's a really great way to release stress and, kind of take your mind off like the academics and, just make a community and really engage with, people who are having the similar interests that you do. So yeah, there's always, there's plenty of student organizations. So yeah, there's tons of things that you can explore here on Purdue's campus.
Okay, thank you. So moving along, some students choose to get part-time jobs to get help, to help pay for schools or just to help pay for school or for spending money. Um, I think Suzy, what is your job? I think we know that Suzy has a job. What's your job, and how do you find a good balance between going to class, getting your classwork, and going to your jobs and things like that and relaxing?
Yeah. So last year, I was a peer counselor at Purdue Division of Financial Aid, and now I'm currently doing like a hybrid style internship with a startup company. And how I balance my lifestyle with my work is just having a good communication with your manager or your boss and letting them know if anything comes up. Just always staying in touch with them and be understanding with them and giving them time to make changes and be flexible. And another thing that I really think is important to staying balanced and organized is using a planner. You can use a paper planner. I use a combination of a planner and also the calendar app just so that I can have classes and any meetings on there and be updated or alerted when something comes up. And I think another important thing to do is to always stay ahead of your assignments and on top of classes so that you don't fall behind. I like to look at my syllabus and see what projects I may have that's coming up or any assignments that's coming up, and either getting started on it early on so that I don't feel pressure if I have a lot of stuff going on, or just finishing what I can.
Wonderful, thank you. How about you, Ishani? Can you tell us about your job and how you make time for it?
So I currently work as a student web designer and videographer for the Department of Natural Forestry and Natural Resources here on campus. It's really nice. I think the faculty, especially on campus, is very understanding when you are a student employee. They know there's going to be, especially during midterm or final season, they know you're going to be a little bit busier, and they always try their best to kind of work around that with you, of course. For time management, I definitely try to put aside time in my weekdays to work for my job. It's remote and I kind of get to pick my hours. So I got really lucky this way. I know it's not going to be like this for everyone, but it really helps if you work on it during the weekday like a normal job, and you keep the weekend for catching up on other stuff, unfortunately like homework. But it still gives a good balance, and if you're utilizing the weekends properly, you're going to have more than enough time for fun and studies both. Maybe keep one day of the week just completely stress free if that's what you want. But I will say that don't try to cram everything just in the weekdays or even in one day, because it's a really easy way to get burnt out and to stop looking forward to those days on the week, and just kind of spread yourself out and let yourself breathe a little.
Wonderful, thank you. A question from the audience: are sports games something that many students attend? For example, football, basketball games. Anyone want to share that? Go ahead, Preston and Ashley have their hands up.
I can go first. That's all right with you, Ashley. So being from Indiana, basketball is kind of the main thing that we do here because it's very cold and you can play the sport all the time indoors. And I played a lot of basketball growing up. So if you can imagine, I had a lot of excitement whenever I knew that Zach Edey was going to still be here whenever it was my freshman year. And going to Mackey and basketball games is unlike anything you have ever been to. It doesn't even matter if you have been to like your high school basketball game, and that was incredible. I went to a pretty awesome high school with a pretty good basketball team, but Mackey is like top of the chart. No hands, like no questions asked. It's amazing. The atmosphere is incredible. Tickets are pretty affordable. You can also buy them off of other students. And I'm also in the paint crew, so that means that I have unique opportunities to sit in the lower bowl closer to the floor And that is a completely different atmosphere there. You're surrounded by a ton of other fans who are just as passionate about the game as you are. You get a cool t-shirt, you get to line up early before the games, you get special opportunities to hang out with players before and after games if those are available. But not only is our basketball team really good, our football team, avoiding this year's record, we are still a really fun team to go and watch. Ross 8 is right next to Mackey as well, so you're not too far from the other one. The tailgating is so much fun because the tailgating lots are really close to the entrance of the stadium, and there is, in my opinion, there's nothing more fun than like in September. It's super hot and you're in the stands and we kick off, and the sports atmosphere is awesome because there's always something going on. Our women's volleyball team is also very, very good. That stadium is also right next to Mackey and Ross-Ade, coincidentally. Soccer team is also incredible. I mean, we are a Big Ten school, so sports are something here that we have a lot of pride in. But yeah, if you are a big fan of sports, like, you will not be disappointed at all at Purdue's atmosphere.
Okay, thank you, Preston. Anything you want to add? Because we're at 8 o'clock right now, and so I have one more question for all of you. You're good, Ashley? Okay. All right. So we've come to 8 o'clock. It's that time, and I want to be, mindful of everybody's time. Before we finish this evening, I'm hoping that each of our current students can share some wisdom with those watching. What advice do you have for future students, either about how to make their college decision or about how to be successful at Purdue? Let's see. Fermin, can we start with you?
Yeah, of course. So kind of making two main points here. I want to say number one, of course, choose a school that has a well-developed program for your interests. Choosing a school that has this program that you're really passionate about and, is great. Definitely go for it. Like Purdue, amazing in engineering. And with, being amazing in engineering, he has great connections to the industry. Professors are able to connect you with people they know, your academic advisors. Even when you go to apply to jobs online or internships, whenever they hear Purdue, they basically just want to hire you just because of that. It's a great connection spot, and being able to connect to others is very easy. Number two is definitely when you're first coming to Purdue, take a leap of faith, be open-minded and curious. Everybody is just as nervous and scared, but also very much willing to talk to you. I remember going to Purdue being actually a little scared, not knowing anybody at all, but I was very open-minded and wanted to meet people, and I feel like every single person I talked to was great, very kind. Got to meet a lot of people like that, just randomly asking someone if I could sit at their table in the dining hall. Of course, always a yes, and just a great experience and be able to talk to so many people. And I met a lot of my friends and roommates right now, I want to say.
Wonderful. Thank you. How about you, Briana? What would you say on how to make their college decision or on being successful?
I would say for being successful, I would say the main thing is to really take advantage of the resources and to stay organized. So like if there's like some event or club that even slightly piques your interest, like go for it and just attend a meeting. If you don't like it, you don't have to continue. You don't have to, commit. But like I would recommend like get involved with something that can help you like professionally with your career, and then also something just for fun that like interests you. So like I joined like Purdue IT Professionals Club, and through that club I found out about Women in Cybersecurity Club, which I'm not even a cybersecurity major, but it piques my interest. So I joined the club, and I was encouraged to apply for this scholarship to get into a conference. And as a freshman, I was able to get that scholarship and go to a Women in Cybersecurity conference. So, it's not even my major, but if it interests you, go for it and just, take advantage of all the resources because, there's so much opportunity for growth here. And stay organized and just, again, use your resources, go to office hours, and just don't be afraid to reach out for help and go explore.
Wonderful. Thank you, Briana. What about you, Ashley? Your turn.
Okay, so my biggest piece of advice, especially as a newer student here, is please, please, please don't feel afraid to get involved on campus, especially during the winter when it's cold and there's not that much to do outside. Being a part of a different group gave me a chance to meet amazing people outside of my major and outside of my classes. And being involved on campus also gave me fun things to do during the weekdays and the weekends when I didn't really have any plans or maybe my friends were too busy. I was really scared to get involved during my first semester here, and I didn't really go to a lot of clubs because I was just too stressed with classes and trying to make friends. But in my second semester now, I'm involved in a lot of organizations, and I have a lot more friends than I did in the very beginning. So please don't feel afraid to get involved. Everyone here is really welcoming, and they will welcome you with open arms.
Wonderful. Thank you. Andriana, it's your turn.
Yeah, so the main thing I will say about being successful here, and the main thing that helped me was definitely being organized and working on my procrastination issues. So, in high school, I was definitely had a hard time with staying on top of things, but here things can get overwhelming pretty fast, just with all the stuff that you can do, as long as you have so much more freedom here. So there's going to be so many things that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to try the co-rec in the new classes. You're going to want to do your homework, but you're also going to want to hang out with friends at the same time. So definitely just keep yourself organized. For me, that help was having a calendar app and also writing down everything I need to do within the week and getting those completed. And also try and get your stuff completed before nighttime, because that's when you like to hang out with your friends. And that's it's really nice to be able to be done by 8 or 9 o'clock and be like, okay, I can do what I want to do. So definitely just stay organized, try to get your stuff done on time and just keep track of everything. And honestly, it'll go pretty smoothly for you if you develop that mindset.
Nice advice. Thank you, Andriana. Suzy, what's your advice?
I think the other ambassadors had great advices, but I think mine is more vague, and I just want to say that your college experience is what you make of it. So the effort and the people that you surround yourself with impacts you and your future. So yeah, just do your best, connect with as much people as you can, and take advantage of the resources that's been provided.
Wonderful. Thank you, Suzy. Preston, what would you say?
I would say a lot of what I would agree with all the other ambassadors here. But my piece of advice that's helped me out the most is to make friends with your TAs. Believe it or not, they are also students here. They have taken the class before, and most of the times they have had the same problems that you had. And it's a little easier to communicate with your professors and your TAs when you realize that they're really they're like maybe a year older than you. So you're really not that different from all of them. They may have more expertise than you, but whenever you're in college and you have trouble, I mean, it's very convenient to have TAs that you consider friends even after classes, because you know that you can always have them around. And especially continuing on, having people who are older than you and are taking classes that you're going to be taking into the next couple semesters, getting that insight is always incredible. So that would be my advice.
Thank you, Preston. So you have the last word, Ishani. What will you tell them?
I would just say that you should be prepared to know that most of your college time, you're going to be out of your comfort zone. And that's a feeling that's just going to be there the entire time. And to just start being okay with it, because that's what's pushing you and helping you grow as a person, as a professional. And it's going to take that feeling of discomfort is going to take you places you thought you could never go.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone, thank you for your words of wisdom and your advice. This concludes our discussion tonight, and we are grateful to all of you for watching and for submitting the questions. And we hope you learned something new about Purdue and the Polytechnic that will help you in your college decision. If you turned in sometime after the start of our broadcast, be sure to watch the replay because we covered a variety of different topics throughout the hour. Thanks to Andrew and Malavika, who were answering questions in our chat, and to John, our technical director, for all of his behind the scenes work. I'm especially grateful to our student panelists this evening, Ishani and Suzy, Ashley, Briana, Preston, Andriana, and Fermin for sharing your experiences as Purdue students with our next year's new students. Now, as I mentioned before, please feel free to send email to techrecruit@purdue.edu if you have any additional questions for us about our college or about Purdue University. You can find links to our YouTube broadcasts from both this year and last year at polytechnic.purdue/live. Many of those broadcasts go in depth on issues related to the academic majors in our college as well. So just a quick reminder, the deadline to accept your offer of admissions is May 1st. So thanks again for being here tonight. Have a great evening and boiler up. Take care. Good night.